You okay? One of the very interesting facts that has emerged about slave ownership is that there are something like 47,000 people who make claims for compensation. Something between 3,000 and 4,000 of those people are living in Britain. Those 3,000 to 4,000 people get something like 40 to 45% of the total amount of compensation that's paid out. So there is a heavy concentration of owners or of people who benefit from compensation, because, as you know, not everybody who benefits from compensation is a direct owner because of mortgages and that sort of thing. And you can look these people up on the website. But within that 3,000 to 4,000 people, you've also got a heavy concentration of people in London, probably disproportionate to the size of the population, most certainly. But you've also got people in not only the big slave-connected centres like Bristol or Liverpool or Glasgow, but people living in the far north of Scotland, people living in the northeast of England, where there is no particularly strong relationship between the slave trade and the local economy. There is some, but not particularly strong. But within London, you also get heavy concentrations of owners in particular districts. Bloomsbury is one example. You can see this from the map that we have on our website of the concentration of owners within, for example, Gower Street. And it's very interesting to think about why that is so. It's also interesting to think about what kinds of people these are. They're people who are engaged in London in trade and commercial activity through banking, financial institutions and so on. But there are also people who are professionals, who are, as it were, ordinary middle-class people. And as you know, there's also a high proportion of women, a minority, but nonetheless a very high proportion of women, relative to the expected patterns of ownership of property amongst women and all the restrictions that there are on women owning property. So looking at London means not taking London as a homogeneous area, but actually looking at why, and this is clearly something important for your project, why Bloomsbury may be different from Hackney, for example. Why Bloomsbury is different from Clapham. Why there are areas of London where you get a lot of slave owners, but there are areas where you don't get so many. So looking at the social geography is an important thing to do for this kind of work, because it illuminates the economic history, the cultural history, and so on. And the traces of this are to be found in individuals. People like George Hibbert is a very prominent example, but they're also to be found in the physical legacies, the fabric of the city.